This channel is a member of the Astral Stars, which means we have a zero-tolerance policy against the harassment of others. Anybody who violates that policy will be banned. For further information, please visit www.theastralstars.com.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it?
Alright, check that out. Can you dig it? Alright, if you want us to showcase your channel, click on the link in the description below for the rules and regulations. Alright guys and girls, first of all, check it out. Got my new, last year I was wearing earmuffs to keep the gnats out of my ears. This time, I kind of like improvised. A hat for shade, and it has a side where it can keep the gnats out of my ears and the sun off my face and all that. Cool. How much was this thing? It was like $19, I believe, that on Amazon. Alright, check it out. Today we got a 2002 Mercury Sable with the 3.0 dual overhead cam. Today I am going to show you how to change the ignition coil. Now, here's some indications that you have a bad ignition coil. You're driving along, it's fine, but on the first moment you step on that gas pedal, you feel that car breaking down, go pep, pep, pep. That's an indication of an ignition breakdown. And number one, it could be ignition wires. Number two, it can be ignition control module. Number three, it can be the ignition coil. On this vehicle, the coil of the spark plugs and the wires have been changed. They're fairly new. So we're going to go ahead and replace that ignition coil. Alright, let's get our tools and get everything. The difficult part of it, you got to remove the plenum to get to this coil. That's why a lot of people charge a lot of labor for this. Alright. Let's get our tools and we'll be right back. Alright, now the ignition coil is located right back here. You can see the top of the spark plug wires going to it. And the only way of getting to this is removing the plenum. Now, when you want to remove something big, what you want to do is start from one corner and just work your way around, and everything that's connected to the car, to the part you're removing, you want to disconnect it the easiest way possible. Alright, so we're going to start right here. We go around and we got this Evap Solenoid right here. So now we can either unbolt it and swing it to the side, or we can just unplug it. Here's a little tab right here. You push down on the tab and unplug it just like that. And now we have a vacuum line. You want to be careful with removing this vacuum line, because one, the lines itself is plastic, and number two, the Evap Solenoid right there is plastic. So you want to just slowly wiggle that back and forth until you unplug it, lean it to the side. Alright, that's great. Now we start walking our way around. We got the bolts, we're not worrying about that yet. Then we come around, and the next thing we are is at the EGR valve. First thing we're going to do, let's twist this connector right here, back and forth. Now you see how this is hard to do? And I got to be careful because this plastic line will break. So, let's get us a flat screwdriver, and I'm going to show you how to take that off. Be right back. Alright guys, get us a flat screwdriver, and you want to take the screwdriver and you want to stick it down at the edge and just slowly pry that up just like that, out of the way. That is cool. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is the EGR valve. Now we got a couple ways of removing that EGR valve. So what we're going to do is disconnect it from the two bolts on the top. And those are 10mm bolts. And what we're going to use is a 10mm 3/8 drive, shallow socket, or you can use a deep. And I'm using a 12-inch 3/8 drive extension. You might be saying, why are you using such a long extension? So I don't have to be reaching all over here and all that. So this way, I'm back here. Take off these two bolts. Now you want to be very careful because there is a gasket in between there. Set these to the side. And we want to make sure we don't lose that gasket. And you want to come over this side, you can see.
I can see it.
Okay, both bolts are the same length, so we don't have to worry about that. And your EGR valve is going to just move right out of the way. And you can see the gasket. The gasket will stay into place. That's the top one. There's one gasket down there and one up there is going to stay in place. All right, that's good. That's done. Let's move on to the next step. The next step is if we got a vacuum hose. Well, it's not a vacuum, it's a vent hose going right here. Be very careful. It's plastic also. And this hose look kind of brittle. So I just want to pop that off and move that to the side. Now we got, let's see, one right here. Let's pull this off. Let's go into a vacuum manifold over here. Then we got one that's probably going down to the valve cover. We're gonna slowly pull that out. Lean that down to the side. Take a screwdriver, flat screwdriver. You got a clamp right here. Loosen up the clamp. Let's get a better screwdriver. All right, now you want to slowly disconnect this. Pull the air tube off. Your air cleaner right here. Pop the latches off. Pick it up. Hold it up. Don't pull it yet. You got your mass airflow sensor right here. Now to disconnect this mass airflow sensor, you got another plug that has a tab. Squeeze in that tab and unplug it. Bring that to the side. Put that down. Here's your idle air control valve. Now on the other side of this valve, there's another tab that you have to squeeze in and unplug. So you squeeze it in and unplug it. Bring that down to the side. Now, back over here on this side, you have your throttle positioning sensor. And your throttle positioning sensor also has a tab that you got to squeeze in right there and unplug it. Okay, there's a tab right there. You push that tab down and then pull it off. Great, that is great. Now you have we have our cables right here. Our cable going to our cruise control. The cruise control modules right here. And then you have the other cable going inside the car to the accelerator pedal. We do not need to disconnect those because we're just going to hold the intake up. All right, our intake is ready to pick up. The next thing we got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 5/16 or 8mm bolts. Either socket you want you to use. I am going to use a 5/16 3/8 drive and our 12-inch 3/8 drive extension and our 3/8 drive ratchet. And we're going to go ahead and remove all the bolts. You don't have to take it out and pull that grommet out like I did. Just leave it just like that. All right, let's get all 8 and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're down to our last bolt. All right, that's cool. Now, what we're going to do here is slowly pick up our intake. Make sure nothing else is holding it down. That's good. You got to move out. Now, right now, it's stuck on this EGR valve. So we want to pick out EGR valve, pull out EGR valve just a little bit. Just to get our intake up. Just like that. There's our coil. Now, what we want to do is hold this up in the air.
Like it just don't care?
Yeah, here we go with this. All right. Now you don't want to pick this up a lot because if you look, come over this side, you can see it better. If you look over here, you have main vacuum hoses. That's a main vacuum line right there. Definitely want to pay attention to that. You have the vacuum lines over here. We'll pull that off. And everything else is good. All right, now what you want to do is get something to hold this, keep this intake up in the air and so it don't come down. So what I'm gonna do here is lean it like that for a minute. And I got me some wire. You can use a block of wood or anything right there. What I'm gonna do, just take me a piece of wire right here. And just want to put one end right around here. I don't have to tie it really into a knot or anything, just one time, just like that. If you get some mechanics wire, it'd be even better. I'll just hook it up here to the hood. Just like that. Just wrap that around. Great, just like that. Man, you look dangerous. Just good. All right, the next thing we got is here's our ignition coil and here's our plug right here. First, we're going to unplug it. We got a little tab right there. Squeeze the tab in, pick it up, bring that to the side. All right, now let's get us some Torx bolts so we can unbolt that. Be right back. All right, guys. Matter of fact, let's get the new coil here. Now your ignition coil is going to be held in by 3 T25 Torx. 1, 2, and 3. Now this set right here is a cool set for you DIYers and don't want to spend a lot of money on the hex bit and Torx bit and all this. This set is from Harbor Freight and it's $5.99. Excuse the way it looks, I forgot that. But yeah, I got it all over the place. But anyway, so we're looking for a T25. Now what you want to do, if you get this set, get you a quarter inch socket to stick in there. And then your bunch of bits. This one's a T27. That ain't it. Here's a T25 I already got to the side. And what you want to do here is, just like I said, have you a quarter inch drive, shallow socket. So in this way, whatever bit you need in here, it fits right up there and you got yourself the ratchet. Now sometimes this thing does not stick in there like that, so what you got to do here is get you a piece of plastic, a piece of grass or something, I don't care what it is, piece of used toilet paper, anything.
No.
I don't know what the heck wrong with me. See what you do to me, CV?
Yeah.
All right, so you take the plastic, or the used toilet paper is better because it's got mushy stuff in it.
That's
so
enough.
it will hold together on the socket. So you stick your socket in there and bam, there you go, just like that. All right, and what we're going to be using is a 2-inch quarter-inch drive extension, just like that, and our quarter-inch drive ratchet. All right, let's go over there, take this, and let's go over here to the car. All right. Now, what we're going to do here, actually, because this is going to be kind of ridiculous to get in the way. I'm trying to do this without disconnecting the wires up here. So let's see, we got the one. There's one. And once I get it loose, I can take the ratchet off.
Why can't you disconnect the wires?
Well, you can, but what I want you to do is, because you don't want to mix up the order in it. Mm-hmm. So if you have a little pin or something, then you mark them. Then you can take it off. Matter of fact, let's actually do that so everybody can know. And we don't have a marker with us, so I'm going to actually use a regular felt pen. All right, be right back. All right, we got to have a ballpoint, because Sylvia wanted to make sure I got that right. A ballpoint pen. And what I want to do is, all right, let's start from up here. This is number 1. This thing ain't right, is it?
How you know that's number 1?
No, it ain't. I don't know if it's number 1 or not, but anyway.
Oh.
That's going to be number 1 as I put them back. 2. That's a 2. This ain't really 3. Okay. Want to make sure. Now, if you get a marker, it'd be even better. So there's 1, 2, and 3.
What kind of 2 is that?
Yeah. So we know 1, 2. 3. And I'm gonna leave 4, 5, and 6 right there. Now, since I got that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and reach back here with my T25. You know what? I'm just gonna reach back here. And you remember, look at this little sensor right here, guys. This little switch right here. Be sure you connect this back and be sure this stays connected, because this will cause the car not to start if you unplug this and leave it. All right, so we got our next one right here. Got that loose, got it off. All right. And our last one is way over here on the other side. And when you do this, make sure that socket is perpendicular right with that bolt. Because if it's crooked or anything, you can strip that out, and then you're going to be looking crazy in the face. Okay, so we loosen up this one. Let's get that one out, and we'll be right, all the other one out, and we'll be right back. All right, we're on our last bolt. Pull the bolt out. Take our coil with the other 3 wires still attached. Bring it out here to the side, and bam, there it is. Now I'm gonna go over here and get my new coil. Okay, here's our new coil. Match it up. Everything looks good. Let's bring our coil over here. And what we're going to do is get one bolt started. Screw it in by a few threads. Get the bolt over here on the other side. Get that in by a few threads. And then I want it in the back. And remember to keep that little switch, a little sensor, whatever you want to call it. Get that in there. Alright, then we're going to take our setup with our T25 Torx. And what you can do is, easiest part, bring it in by hand. Now to tighten these up, that's all you have to do is tighten it up till it stops. And then, this is a sucky ratchet. Tighten it up just a little bit snug more. That's it. Alright, let's get the other 2 done and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we are looking great. The next thing we're going to do is now put our ignition wires back on. We got our coil right here. Let's line it up, match it up with that one. Let's start off from the furthest one. Pull it off. Push it down and make sure it is all the way down. Go to our next one.
You can sure smell that horse, Dookie.
Oh, there's horses around here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's another one. And the third one. Bring that down, get our coil out of the way. Now let's get our other wires. This is number 2.
It's a good thing you numbered them.
Yeah, that's right. This is, I don't know. Dang it, man. They ain't gone. Oh well. This one is number 1, so that's cool. So let's get number 1 in there. And this one's number 3. There we go. They are in there. And actually I can bring this number 1 out this way. Yeah. And when you do this, you want to make sure that the wires are not touching anything, because they can cause a spark off to the side and cause you a misfire. All right, last thing, reach our plug over here, push the plug in. What the heck, now this thing won't go. we go. Okay, that's plugged up. We are looking good. The next thing we're going to do, we'll come over this side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get ready to unhook our intake. But what we're going to do is reach over here, get our vacuum line ready. One under there. All right. Let's slowly lower. Okay, one more point thing before I forget. If you look up under here, the intake manifold gasket, O-rings or plenum gasket, you see how these are sticking out instead of flat? If those was flat with this intake, replace those right now or it will leak. This one is sticking out, and I know this intake has been changed not too long ago, and if you can see how the gaskets are sticking out, I know they are still good. And actually what we're going to do, we're going to get a rag and just wipe that off real quick a little bit. And then we're going to get ready to lower that down. All right, we'll be right back. All right, we'll hold this up. Got me a rag right here. And I just want to wipe off the lower intake. All right, now what we're going to do is start lowering this down. And we gotta watch out for our EGR valve. Okay, and as I'm lowering this down, I want to make sure that I get our vacuum line over there hooked up, so we don't forget that. There it is. All right, now we let it down. Then we gotta come over here and we gotta lower this side down. Well, this side, this is where the EGR valve is hitting. So we gotta move our intake back and get it to slowly go down. That is great. Now, I'll reach up under here. And I want you to look right in here. So this is very important also. Can you see that little shiny pipe right there?
Yeah.
Be careful with that, guys. What you got to do is make sure that vacuum hose that's right there goes on that while you're lowering it down. You're going to cause yourself a big leak. There it is. It is on. All right, now that we got that situated, what we're going to do here is get our intake lined up so we can start putting our bolts in just a little bit, just to keep the intake in place.
Do you have to watch the wires over there? Make sure they don't get like stuck up under there.
Oh yeah, good, like I'm doing right now. Oh, and back here, yeah, you got to make sure those wires are out of the way. And you notice I'm bringing the bolts in by hand, just by a couple threads, because I want to make sure they're not going cross-threaded. Everything is in. Everything is in. All right, a little front four is done, and this one is done. Now the ones in the back, I got to get my 12-inch extension, or 5/16 or 8mm socket. And what I want to do is slowly turn them, make sure they're started. And we're not going to tighten them up yet. We just want to make sure they are started. And they are. All right, let's get our wire out of the way and we'll be right back. All right, guys, here we are. Got the wire out the way. Now we got these bolts started, but we're not going to tighten these up yet. What I want to do here, make sure that one is going down in there. Okay. What I want to do is make sure our EGR bolts line up. So what I'm going to do is take, matter of fact, let's get a little piece of plastic in so the bolts don't fall off. I got my 10mm shallow with a 12-inch extension. Got me a piece of plastic here. And this is cool. It's another little trick you want to do. Take the bolt, stick it in there, and that way the bolt holds in place. So then you can go ahead and try to line that up and get that started. Great. Get the other one. Okay. that one started. Great, and we're not gonna tighten them up yet either. Because now we got it started. Now what we're gonna do is go back to our 8mm or 5/16 shallow, and we're gonna start tightening up the intake. And what you wanna do when you tighten up the intake, you wanna start, it's got 8 bolts. So what you wanna do is start from the center and work your way out. This way, in case the intake is warped in any kind of way, you wanna make sure you tighten up the center. You wanna make sure you tighten up the center and work your way out. If you tighten up, lay right here for a minute. If you tighten up the outside, if the intake is warped and you tighten up the outsides first, you're gonna tighten it down like this, and then the center's not gonna go down. Then there's gonna be a gap between there and cause this car to have a serious drivability issue. So what you wanna do is tighten up from the inside first and then work your way out. So then out here, it got some place to expand to. All right, so what we're gonna do, start from the center one. Bring it down. I'm not tightening it up all the way yet. Just bring it down just a little bit, just so it goes down. Okay. Okay, now this one right here, I'm going to bring down. And what you do is bring down till it stops and just a little bit more. Snug it up. Okay. Okay. Now we know our center is down, tightened up. Now we can go and do the outside bolts. So what you want to do, bring them down till it stops. Okay. Okay, and now we're gonna go tighten them up. And again, to tighten them up, you want to just go ahead till it stops and snug a little bit more. That's it. Do not over tighten these. Do not go crazy, because what happens here is there's metal inserts into the plastic, and if you over tighten them, you can just strip that whole thing right out, and bam, the whole intake is going to be no good. All right, we got that done. Now, before we forget, let's switch over to our 10mm socket, and we're going to go in here and let's tighten up EGR valve, 2 bolts. Again, tighten up till it stops, a little bit more. That's it. Stops, a little bit more. Perfect. Now, we're gonna start putting everything back together. So now we're gonna start from this side. And first thing we got is our connector to our throttle positioning sensor. If I can find it. Where the heck did it go, man? Around here somewhere. There it is. All right, so let's get our pump in there, and you want to push on until it snaps into place. Bam. Bring our wire up here, our connector right here, to our idle air control valve. Let's get our EGR vacuum out of the way. Connect that up. Bam. Now we know everything else is good. What's so funny? All right, now let's go get our air cleaner, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, check this out. Before we put the air cleaner on, I just noticed in there, if you look inside the throttle body, you see all that grime and carbon buildup in there? This is a great chance to clean this out, because air goes around there. And if that's blocked off, this car will stall out when you're putting in gear or when you're coming to a stop. This goes for every single vehicle with this kind of setup on a throttle body, which means that little valve in there. So we're gonna clean that out. So what you want to do, and I'm gonna show you the best way to clean it out. A lot of people just spray it, but that's not good enough. What you want to do is sit here. Dang it, man, what the heck? Open our throttle up, and you can see how dirty that is. So what you want to do is open the throttle up, and it's a good. This might be good to have 2 people, but if not, you're gonna do it this way. One hand opens it up, and look at all that carbon buildup right there. Look at that. So what you want to do here, you want to take you a rag, Get some carburetor cleaner. Soak the rag. Stick the rag in there with your finger and clean it. Look at that. And that way you're not spraying it all in there and carburetor cleanup come out here and all this. Then you go on the other side of the blade. Clean the throttle out right there. Take your hands. Clean the blade itself. And if you want, what you can do, I'll show you another little trick. What you can do is take a screwdriver and stick it onto the rag. Here's a screwdriver right here. And use a screwdriver to get it really clean. And then you use a screwdriver to wipe the blade off. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, so we're good with that. Let's take that out of the way. Now, what's good about this guys, is that if you have your car at a shop for spark plugs or the wires or something like that, they got to take your intake off. They got to put your intake down. A lot of shops will not look in there and clean that out. And before you know it, you're driving and the car's messed up. So it's all up to you as a DIYer. It's all up to you to check.
Can you recommend it?
Huh?
If you take your car to a shop, can you recommend it?
Yeah, they're going to charge you more.
Well,
Because they consider that a throttle body cleaning, and they will do just what we did. A good reputable shop will go ahead and remove the throttle body, clean all that out, and remove the idle air control valve, because it builds up, the carbon builds up the same way, and clean that out. So the charge, if you ask somebody for a throttle body cleaning on this job, the labor should be between 55 and I want to say 100, because some shops do charge $100 per hour, and 100 plus the gaskets, throttle body gasket and an idle air control valve gasket. All right, we got that done. Now let's go over here and put our air cleaner on. Our air cleaner has 2 tabs right here, and down here on the air filter box, it's got 2 tabs down there. So what we're going to do is that's going to go down in there. As a matter of fact, before we do that, let's hook up our mass airflow sensor. Okay, and you want to get that down in there, and at the same time, put this on. Okay, that's locked into place. Get our little tabs right here, the bracket, the locks. Flip it over, lock it down. Over here. Lock it down, and there should have been one over there, but I guess not, just the 2 at the top. All right, we are looking good. The next thing we're gonna do, we got our 2 vacuum hoses over here. One fits into there. This is a good time to take notice of this little tube right there. If this little tube is messed up, broken in any kind of way, or these broke, you will get a check engine light, and this car will run raggedy because it's after that mass airflow sensor. All right, let's get our other hose, hook it up to there. Great. Walk ourselves around. Get our vacuum hose right here. Great. Over here, EGR valve. Great. Everything over here is connected. We didn't forget nothing. Last but not least, over this side, let's tighten up that clamp. Do not forget to tighten up that clamp. Flat screwdriver. Tighten that up. Great. Everything over here looks good. Let's go over to the other side. All right, Sylvia, what's next?
I have no idea. This over here don't look like it's sitting right. I don't know.
Yeah, that's up there. That's good.
Oh, that's weird.
Are we done?
You gotta plug up that thingy right there.
This?
No.
This?
Right there.
This.
Look. Everybody's looking straight at it.
All right, we got our vacuum hose on the Evap Solenoid. All right, so let's go over here and plug up our 2 hoses right here. Okay, great. And then our electrical connector. Bam. Is that it?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We are done. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Got it? Let's start this up. Now, remember the original complaint, the car was, car drove good, but once he gave it gas from the start, the car be like, bup, 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 and then it would pick up.
We do what? We didn't catch it.
Don't worry about it.
We do what?
Nothing. It didn't do nothing. It had a misfire.
We didn't catch it.
All right. Dang it.
It did
All right.
what?
When he stepped on the gas, everything was good, but once he stepped on the gas, it went bup, 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 real quick, and then it smoothed right out.
I see.
All right. So, and especially when you put it in gear when it's on a load. All right. Let's try it out. Start it up. That is perfect. That job came out great. All right, we'll be right back.
All right, so that's how you change an ignition coil on a 2002 Mercury Sable LS with a 3.0 engine, and this is a dual overhead cam. So if you guys have any comments or questions, you can post them below in the comment section, or you can email Timmy at tim@astralautorepairs.com. Hope you paid attention. If not, watch it again. This is Sylvia from Astral Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can. See you next time.